Hello and welcome to Longship Gaming. It is our second anniversary on the channel. It was 2 years ago, which I can hardly believe, since I started this. It's been a lot of fun, continues to be fun, and spoiler alert, I'm probably not going to stop until it ceases being fun, but at this point I can't see it ever not being fun. Want to first excuse the mess here behind me. I've got these tables I still need to build. That's the miniatures cabinet right there behind me. Unfortunately, it's oriented in such a way you can't see the lovely miniatures inside of it. It's the only way to really fit it down here. And the window behind me, I want to get some curtains for that. Right now it's just serving as a cat bed for the cats to look out in other people's backyards. So, I know I'm also very scruffy. I really haven't had time to properly tidy myself up, so please excuse me for my scraggliness. Anyway, so I just wanted to go over some of the things that have happened in the last 2 years, some highlights from this past year, where we might be going, etc., etc. So, as I said, it's been 2 years of fun and some improvements over time. They're slow improvements because, things are expensive. But so I've updated the main camera. Not in this case, I'm just using a webcam for it. But the camera that I use for recording games has been a huge improvement over the past year. I'm still learning how to use it properly and get some proper settings. And that I'm going to continue to work on over time. I do have a setup now, actually, that I can stream directly from it. So I'm thinking in this coming year, I want to do some actual recording of larger games that might need a top-down view. We'll have to see. I got to do some experiments. And our mics. I improved the mics drastically. I picked up, I'll just show them off here. Highly recommend these. Got these from, I got them from Amazon. These Comica paired remote mics with the lavalier. They are very good quality, have great battery life. And I think they've improved the sound quite a bit as well. And of course they're in pairs, so if I start doing two-player games, then we'll have everybody, or both people playing it on mics, so it'll be a lot clearer. So I'm looking forward to giving that a shot. So at this point, we're over 580 subs. Thank you very much for everyone who's subscribed. We're over 67,000 views in total since the birth of the channel, and 11,000 watch hours. And I meant to catch when I did this, but we are now over 100 Marvel Champions playthroughs. I can't believe that now, over 100. That's a lot of card flipping and flopping. So, yeah. Well, I'm going to keep doing those. I love doing them every week. So yeah, and to that end, I'll go over what I'm going to be doing with it as we progress through the year. My top video from last year, weirdly enough, I did a Frosthaven tips and tricks video for early game, like year one early game. It's had over 4.4 thousand views. Sorry, 4.4 thousand views at this point. And every week, I guess, and it really spiked around Christmas of 2023. I guess a lot of people did get it for Christmas. I guess people have been enjoying that and getting some good tips to improve their games. So I hope it's been helpful. And our top Marvel Champions video is the Gambit versus Green Goblin Risky Business video that was all basic cards. So a non-aspect Gambit deck has had over 2,000 views since I published that one. So that one, it's interesting. I know Green Goblin's always been pretty popular, and apparently so is Gambit. But maybe it was because it was an all-basic deck, which is unusual. But yeah, if you've never watched that one, go have a look at the playlist. Find that one. It was a lot of fun. Okay, so in January, I put up a poll, and thank you for the 52 people that responded to that poll and what they wanted to see in the next year or so. So as you can see here, far and away, over half percent, or half percent, over 50% Want to see, of course, stay the course with Marvel Champions gameplay, which of course they're going to be doing this every Monday. And the lowest one actually was the more commentary and reviews, which I thought was interesting because typically you'll find for channels like these that the opinion pieces or reviews or tier lists or whatever tend to do better than most everything else. So I was kind of surprised that 8%, that wasn't really a lot. I've held off doing an update to my reviews. The last one I did was when the X-Men cycle ended. I'll have to come back to that, but I'm not at a spot where I have played. There are so many heroes now against and so many scenarios. I don't know if I can give an accurate rating to some of the newer ones and where to fit into the old ones. So I still might do it. Let me know in the comments if you would like to see an updated list, or at least maybe if I do a review of the X-Force cycle now that we're moving into the next one. Again, I'm more than happy to do it. I'm just kind of surprised that the commentary and reviews that were the least popular option in the poll. And about equally, we have gameplay videos for other LCGs like Earthborn Rangers, solo board game gameplay, and multiplayer board game gameplay. That one actually kind of surprised me because it's not something I've done before. So some people want to see multiplayer board game gameplay. Hopefully I can bring that to the channel this coming year. Solo board game gameplay depends on the board game because there's a lot of setup and whether or not it shoots very well. But again, with my new setup, maybe that will actually be possible. So I'm going to certainly try and get that out there, give that a try this year. Other LCGs, Earthborn Rangers is a given. I absolutely love this game. I know they haven't been coming out with the cadence that I would like. It's just a matter of having time to do them. But I really wish that there were other LCGs. So I do own Arkham Horror, but I do not have a full collection of Arkham Horror. Plus, that works. I feel that works much better as a two-player game than it does solo. I would love for there to be another LCG style game that I could play solo. I often wonder whether or not Fantasy Flight would take some of their other licenses that they've made games for, like Five Rings, maybe, and turn that into one, or turn Netrunner into an LCG. I know why that's probably not going to happen, at least for a very long time, because the elephant in the room for Fantasy Flight is Star Wars Unlimited. And that's probably taken up a lot of their development cycles, which is why we've seen that gap last year of not many releases for Marvel Champions. So we'll see. If anybody has an LCG style game that they want to recommend, please comment on it below and let me know what it is. I'm aware of some, like there's one from Chip Theory called 20 Strong, but man, trying to find that in Canada, not easy. Can't seem to find it anywhere. But I'd be interested in trying that one because it has that sort of LCG feel to it. So, best laid plans for this coming year. Finishing the upgraded game space for larger games. As I said, that's what these tables are here for. I have a Kallax over there that now actually has all the games level where the top of the table is going to be. So I can actually get larger games like that. I just need to get a better camera stand. Right now I've got an arm that kind of reaches over it, but I might want to get a tripod with a lever or something at some point. I'm always looking for, it's difficult, and this is a complete aside, but it's difficult to find in some cases tips from other content creators in this space who actually show off what their setups are. So I can get an idea of, oh, this is the actual stand I could use that would really work for this, or these are the kinds of lighting setups or whatever. I don't know why. It seems to be very tightly guarded secret. If you know of a channel that has actually gone into a deep dive of how they set up their little studio space, please, I'd love to know, because I'd love to learn from somebody who has a very efficient setup. So that's coming. I look forward to that. Should be done, I'm hoping, well, as of recording, this coming week. We have an old couch down here that's going to get dismantled and removed, and we're going to replace it with chairs, because the couch just doesn't fit the space anymore. I'm looking forward to actually have a permanent space so I can play more actual miniatures games on it. So, I'll get to that in a minute. But for Marvel Champions, I'm doing an alphabetical challenge. I took the guesswork. I'm trying to take the guesswork out of, and I've already started putting these up. I've taken the guesswork out of which hero to play against which mission or which villain or scenario. So I'm starting with the A's and moving down the ranks and matching up the hero with the villain. So as you've probably seen on the channel, I've already started doing it. And the idea is to cycle back through that, because there are not as many, there's not an equal number of heroes versus scenarios. So when we get to the bottom of the heroes, let's say, then it'll go out of sync with the scenarios. So it'll change it up over time. But we are at so many heroes now, I'm basically going to be doing one video for a hero in a year, if even that at this point. There's just so many. And it keeps it fresh for me. And it, as I said, takes the guesswork out of it. I can take a hero that I haven't played for quite some time, go onto the Marvel Champions database, and look at updated decks for that hero. Because, again, it will take some time. There'll be a lot of new cards out. And for me, it'll be a fresh experience. So I'm looking forward to pushing through with that. Again, I banked a bunch of videos to put up because I knew I wasn't going to have time to play with our mini reno that's going on. But I'm chomping at the bit to get back to playing them. I'd love to do, at some point, a mini showcase for Legions Imperialis. So anybody who's familiar with Warhammer, they put out our Games Workshop put out a new version of what used to be called Epic, called Legions Imperialis. Little teeny tiny Space Marines, small tanks, somewhat larger knights, and somewhat larger Titans and so on. They put out a game previously called Adeptus Titanicus. All those models in that scale are compatible with Legions Imperialis. So it's been a lot of fun playing that. But my goal for this coming year is to get my army up to 3,000 points. Of course, Games Workshop has to actually release more models. I think I'm about the 2,000 point mark. But I want to play that full, and maybe even do it on the channel, full 3,000 point game. My friend Brian, I've asked him to, when he gets the chance, to print off a table full of buildings. And I have a plan for how I'm going to arrange them on one of the mats that I have. So hopefully by the end of this year, a mini showcase for a full 3,000 point, fully painted, fully... what do you call it? With full transfers and everything on it. Legions Imperialis army, and I'll just have a little sneak preview here. It's not the easiest to see, but this is, I magnetized the arms, that's why he's missing the arms. But this is a work in progress Warhound Titan of the Legio Ataris to support my Blood Angels. I'll probably do a video on like the recipes that I used for these. So he still has some weathering to do. I still have to put the transfers on, then do the weathering using a new product that I discovered, which seems to have a lot of promise. And yeah, so there's the Warhound. One day we'll do some Legions Imperialis on the channel. Next up, I had mentioned in a previous video that I was looking to do some Star Wars Unlimited content. It's still up in the air at this point because it hasn't actually come out, whether or not it will succeed locally. It was interesting that I called around to a number of card game stores here in Toronto and asked if they were holding something. There are a few that actually are holding pre-release or release day events, but I was kind of surprised in some cases when I got an unequivocal, although somewhat apologetic, no from one of the biggest card game shops in the city, who do run like Lorcana events, which kind of surprised me that they weren't going to necessarily take the chance on a Star Wars CCG. Maybe they got burned by the FFG with their dice game with Destiny. Who knows? But it was very popular for a long time and then got cut off on the knees. So I've been playing Star Wars Unlimited, doing like sealed simulators against an AI that's online. I highly recommend, if you're interested in the game, go have a look at Force Table, which is a great AI app that you can use to do some practicing with it. But that aside, I've signed up for a pre-release and the release day in early March, so March 2nd to March 9th at 401 Games. If you're in Toronto and you are planning to attend one of these events, please let me know. I'd love to meet up with any viewers who might be going to that. I would like to see, based on what I've seen so far of the game, including the newly released newly unveiled Twin Suns MTG Commander-esque multiplayer version of the game they're coming out with. I think hopefully it has a lot of legs, and I'm hoping it succeeds locally. So I love to bring Star Wars Unlimited content, but really it depends if it succeeds on a local basis. So that's up in the air. But I'm really looking forward to the pre-release. It'll be a lot of fun. So that's about it's less than a month out now. So looking forward to it. So the other question for 2024 is, am I going to monetize this channel or not? When I cross the 500 sub threshold, that does give access to things like memberships and super chats and so on. I can make a little money off the channel. I didn't want to do that right away because, again, that wasn't really the goal. And I really haven't decided what I would want to do with it because, again, it comes down to the time, and I'll get to that in a minute, to be able to produce any more than they already am for the channel. Let me know if you'd be interested in memberships or not. And, maybe I start doing streams of certain things. I don't know. It's really up in the air. So I'm going to have to spend a lot of time this year to see, there was after I hit 500, there was quite a bit of a bump in terms of the number of people who were subscribing. Yeah, as long as it keeps growing and not shrinking, I'll continue to consider it. But I don't want to go right to monetization because, again, it's not really the point of me doing this channel. I might do it with just the caveat that, if anybody who becomes a member, that's really just helping out the channel to, improve it over time, to put it right back into the look and the sound and the kind of games that are played on the channel. Again, it's a really hard decision to make because I don't really want to kill the channel by making it look like it's all about trying to make money off it, which it really isn't. But in the current economic climate, every little bit helps. And of course, here I am being a sloppy recorder and not turning off my notifications. So you're going to get a lot of pings in this video. Okay. So challenges, and these are, I think this is the same for everybody across the content creation space. Time to be able to record in peace, to practice new games, to play for fun, etc. So I spend a lot of my time, a lot of the time that I actually play this game is, well, it's for the channel. Because I have to maximize the time that I'm able to actually play the game. It motivates me, of course, to actually get games out to play them. But that doesn't leave a lot of time to practice new games. So I'll use an example. So over a year ago, I finally bought a board game called Anachrony. Now, Anachrony has a fantastic bot in it to play the board game solo, but there's a lot of setup to it, and the games can be a little long. I'm absolutely dying to play it, but I haven't really had the time to sit down and practice it, to get good at it, to think that maybe that's something I could actually put on the channel. And that is always the problem. It's like Imperium Legends. There's a new one out for Imperium Horizons. It's the same thing. I would love to get that, but I know how long those games are and what kind of a learning curve there are to them. And of course, it has to be sort of interesting content. To be able to record in peace, of course, it's a small house. I've got 2 kids. They have busy lives. My wife does as well. I've got pets. It's life, right? And so I'm committed to staying the course, to putting up the one video at least a week for Marvel Champions. That's always going to be a thing. And of course, Earthborn Rangers going on as well. But I certainly want to do more. The problem is, of course, is time. And of course, costs, right? Like I'm dedicated to keeping up with Marvel Champions. That's a given. But there are tons of other things out there that I would love to pick up and put on the channel. But, cost-wise, things are, as everybody knows right now, cost of living is just awful. And especially here in Toronto, we're getting hit with a lot of extra costs. It's one of the most expensive cities to live in. So that does limit what I can expand into. But so be it. It's you want to live in a big city. That's what you do. So, competing interests. Well, that comes across like all the sort of gaming space, right? I could have recorded more for Earthborn Rangers, but when Legions Imperialis came out, I went really hard on getting those painted. Because that is my other interest, is painting miniatures and building armies for various games. So I'm trying to get this one completed. As I showed you the Warhound earlier, they still have some work to do on them because there's 2 of them. And of course, putting all the transfers and everything on the other models that I have. And of course, spending time with the family. It's there are a lot of competing interests. So, but again, as I said, I want to try and carve out the time somehow to be able to provide more content overall. And then there's the dreaded algorithm. So this isn't grousing, because I'm fully aware of the challenges when it comes to content creation. There's just so much out there. And every content creator is beholden or stuck with what it is, with the algorithm. Now, that's to say I'm not doing anything to try and maximize or trick the algorithm into getting more views or whatever. But something that, and thank you for this to Descry Gaming, he did a video that was commenting on myself and another content creator, Web Warrior Fanatics, gameplay videos. And he said very complimentary things, so thank you very much for that. And one of them, though, that kind of stuck with me is like saying that my channel is kind of under the radar. That my style reminded him of Dale, the casual gamer, and anybody who's watched any Marvel Champions or solo gameplay playthrough is familiar with him. He's the one that actually inspired me to start the channel in the first place, and he's sort of retired from it for now. And he said that he couldn't understand why I wasn't like 1,000+ subscriber channel. I don't know why that necessarily is either. Again, doesn't bother me unduly, but it did actually sort of make me think after 2 years. And I wonder if this is because I am in Canada. I don't know. I don't know if that's something that does challenge the visibility of the channel overall. And as I said, the channel is not shrinking at all. It's ticking up at a very regular rate over these past 2 years. And I am 100% grateful for anybody who's ever, you know, who's subscribed or commented or liked or anything. I love it. It's fantastic. But I do sort of wonder what might be going on there, you know. And you do notice sometimes when the algorithm suddenly recommends one of your videos, and then boom, you suddenly have like a whole bunch of attention and more subscribers that seem to come out of nowhere suddenly. So we're all stuck with this. We're all stuck with this visibility issue. So I would love to pump these numbers up, but that's the way it is. I don't know whether that connects to putting out more content or what. But anyway, so going on too long at length for that one. So I'm not stopping the channel. It's still fun. I'm still going to keep going. And I encourage anyone out there who is enjoying the content to please let me know. Please let me know what you would like to see in the future, what I can expand into, what I can improve. I'm always willing to learn. So I have these grand ideas about what I want to do, but whether or not they come to fruition is another thing entirely. So we'll have to see how. I'll have to look back on this in a year's time, because I'm sure, barring any complete disaster, that there will be a 3rd anniversary video. Yeah, so much like all these Vikings here in this AI generated video of some Vikings partying on their Longship. Thanks very much to everybody who's joined this little crew and made this channel what it is. And as usual, because this is the kind of thing you have to do, please like, subscribe, share, click the bell for notifications when you want to know when more content goes live. That's what you have to do. But yeah, I'm going to keep going. And I look forward to this next year and what new content I can provide. So I'm rambling a little. It's a little stream of consciousness. I apologize for that. But until next time, happy gaming.